So in this video we're going to be taking a look at Old World Vancouver, and we are joined by the Junior Explorer. Want to say hi?
I'm back.
Alright, so we're going to zone in here on Vancouver. This is in British Columbia, Canada. If you don't know, I have also previously featured Victoria and Port Townsend in videos, so we have a bit of a triangulation going on here. Most of our focus is going to be in on this area, City of Vancouver. We'll touch on New Westminster as well, but particularly this area. So we're going to start by looking at the Great Fire of Vancouver. So this is important to get into. It's basically a reset button for the City of Vancouver, 1886. Great Fire destroyed the City of Vancouver less than an hour. Very dramatic reporting going on here. They have some interesting numbers. Well, and I'll try to pull out a couple highlights. Here's a key point here. 28 residents dead. Only 3 of an estimated 1,000 buildings unharmed in the fire. And they do mention in this little write-up, if I can get to it, they have this dramatic story of how the church bell melted. And then the recovery situation. Here we go. Wooden structures. Here they particularly say wooden structures, 1,000 of them burned, nothing left of it. And then there's a dramatic rebuild story going on here, and the city just pulls itself up by its bootstraps and rebuilds. So let's have a quick look at the results or the remains of the fire. I will mention also, I mentioned New Westminster. This one from New Westminster also had a fire in 1898. Remember, the article said wooden buildings. This is what's left of the Vancouver fire. Not many photos, and I suspect all doctored. Here's New Westminster again.
No, that does not look like a good city.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like fire damage to me, does it? Piles of bricks. Looks like there's a demolition process going on here. Destruction process. This is from the Vancouver fire. Remember, the article said only wooden buildings. What are we looking at back here? We're looking at, what are these? Does this look like wood to you, these buildings?
Not really.
Do you think fire can do that to a building? Does that even make sense? Or does it look like something wrecked it?
I think something wrecked it.
Okay, so this is what we're given for the Great Fire, 1886. I think it's important because this is basically, here's a depiction now. I mean, what? That look wooden to you? I mean, I know it's a depiction, right? But do these buildings look like they're made of wood? The arches. So, anyway, the Great Fire of 1886. And of course, let's get into the demographics. So, basically, right after the Great Fire, we have this ridiculous growth of Vancouver. Look at this. Quadrupled in size in 10 years. Imagine the emergency that would be. Anyway, let's look at some of these buildings that no doubt date back into this period of time. And here's George Vancouver, the gentleman that the city is named after. He's a British naval explorer.
See? Why do they all look like girls with that hair?
That's a good question. One more guy we need to get into. This is William Van Horn. This was the Canadian Pacific Railway. He was basically the big dog who came in, and they established a terminus for the rail line in Vancouver in 1886, the same year the fire happened. So this is my suggestion is we have actually a really sloppy backstory for the city. I think I should clean it up for watching this. Okay, people are catching on. Okay, let's get into some of the old buildings in Vancouver. Burrard Street Bridge. We have some then and now comparisons. What do you notice?
They look really different, like the tops. I always notice on like
yeah.
now things in there.
They chop them?
Uh-huh.
Chop off the flare?
It's always on the top.
Seems to be. Alright, some early days of brickwork going on here. And right off the hop, I'm thinking the timeline doesn't jive. These look older than 1886.
Older than you.
Yeah.
Which I forgot that today is your birthday.
Yes, it is. Okay. Here we have a nice view of old World Vancouver with the rail cars, and telegraph poles, and old buildings. Does this look like they just experienced a fire?
Not really.
Here was apparently a proposed design for the university campus, University of BC campus. Is it possible that this was the design? And this was what it looked like and it's been modified since? Possible. Alright, so getting into the old world style buildings now. I want you to notice as we go through these old world buildings that they all have basements. They have basement windows. So that means they're digging down deep into the dirt at a time where it was very difficult to do. Okay, these are, like trees, these buildings are rooted in the earth. And some of them are very well rooted in the earth, I would suggest. But we have an interesting narrative with the hotels. Now let's watch here. Here's one. This is a mansion. I suspect there's been some cover-up going on here.
That one's pretty.
It's an old world mansion there. Here's an old map from 1898. Aerial map. How are we getting aerial views from back then? Is it all just in the mind's eye? Anyway, I use this to find a lot of these buildings in this video.
Didn't know Vancouver was this interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of old world buildings that I had to search pretty hard to find. Here's a few ones that you don't have to search hard to find. Modern day. I've been in this hotel. Feels very grand. This, I think, trying to depict a bit of an Old West look, but we still have the poles. Again, the flagless poles. And of course, not surprised to see a church, are you? Are you surprised to see an opera house in Vancouver? This no longer stands. This is an opera house. Now remember, 1886, nothing left. This is a little side note. This was a head on the side of the highway. It's the Hope Princeton Highway. And I just wanted to throw this in there. So that head on the side of the highway is on this highway here, Hope Princeton Highway. Interesting backstory. Maybe do a video on that later, but I thought I'd throw it in. So let's get back to the Vancouver pictures. All right, Hudson Bay Company. And then you get the streetcars in full effect there. All right, the church look.
Look at all the windows in the front.
Let the light in, right? And then they have these windows, the rosette windows, right? Here's also a church, the Chalmers Presbyterian. Now, a lot of this falls apart when we do a little bit of math. Because we were just told that this whole place was basically eliminated in 1886. How old is this? Does this look old to you? This looks old to me. And it also, the picture looks old. So you can do simple math. I think it's easy to start picking this stuff apart. It doesn't hold water, as they say. Interesting, eh? What they've done here. Remember what you talked about earlier?
Yeah, they always take the tops off.
All right, this would be the a railway station. Looking castle-y, doesn't it? Look at the texture on the brick here. Infinite dormers, I call that. You see a lot of these in the old world buildings. Dormers where they come out the roof, right? Very interesting construction. Again, we're to believe that 1886 and then go. 1886, everything gone, and then go. We live in Vancouver, guys. I mean, come on. We need to get a grasp of our history here. Well, these guys operating the old tram lines.
The boys always have hats and mustaches.
It's almost like a costume.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah. All right, I'll try to move a little quicker. There are a lot of schools in this one as well. This is a hotel, though. Hotel Vancouver. Another one's here's a church. We have coming up a bunch of the hotels. It's a very questionable part of the narrative. Another church was all but scrubbed from history. Quick sidebar, there's a section in Vancouver Gastown named apparently after this Gassy Jack guy. Yeah, Gassy Jack. Gaslighting us, right? Yeah. There's also a false creek running through Vancouver. That was an interesting term. Yeah, you see a lot of these videos too where they say that maybe they're laying tracks. I think a lot of it is either restoring or pulling the bricks out in between them.
Breaking the tracks.
Yeah, you see how
Building the tracks.
this looks like it's been there a while, doesn't it? This doesn't look like it was just installed. According to our historical narrative, this should not be there like that. Or if it is, it should be brand new for the horse and buggy days. All right, here's a view of Hotel Vancouver. One of the Hotel Vancouvers. Look what they had on here, a moose. What's that?
I don't know. It's creepy.
It's a bison. And another moose. Interesting looking building. I'll have another picture. Here we go. Here's the Hotel Vancouver. This is the second Hotel Vancouver, we're told. There's 3 over the span of 130 years. I don't know. Does it make sense to you? Not to me. This one looks spectacular though. I'll zoom in a bit. And this is what we just looked at too, right? But there's a lot more going on this than it looks like from far. Very interesting hotel. Can't believe they tear that down. Couldn't have been that old. Not enough time in the timeline. Here's an interior shot. What do you think of that? Does it look fancy?
Uh-huh.
Would you use the word fancy?
I think I do something better than fancy.
Yeah, who's doing that work? Right? And they tear that down? Come on.
Answers are better than answers.
Yeah, I think so. Here we have a high school, middle of nowhere. Again, basement windows. See that? That means they had to dig down into the dirt. Looking more like a wave of mud has covered the area. Another high school.
So many schools.
Whose classroom is up here?
I don't know. The oldest kids.
I guess, right? That's where you graduate out from.
Wait, what?
Holy Rosary Cathedral.
Ooh, that would be nice.
In 1900, so this is a 10-year-old building here. How old is that tree? See that tree right up against the building? That's older than 10 years old. Okay, if you do a building like this, you need to dig.
Deep.
And that building still stands, although they took some of the flare off. Here's another hotel. Now, here's 3 generations of hotels. We saw this one. We saw this one modern day. This hotel, the Canadian National Hotel. We didn't see this one. This one is hard to find. A CPR hotel.
CPR?
Canadian Pacific Railway. But it's not the same hotel we just took a closer look at. There's a lot of differences. They got the stairs going down here. It's a different hotel.
Oh yeah, I did see the stairs. They're cool.
And this is coming from what era of time? We've got, what, cars here? Is this supposed to be the 20s? That one's curious. There it is. A little closer up here. That's a head scratcher. That's another hotel, I guess, we're told. And then the hotel we looked at.
But you said there was only 3 hotels.
Here's the one we looked at as well. Does this all look new? Or does this picture look like these buildings?
It looks like hundreds of years old.
Sure does to me. And then you have this building, we'll see that a little bit. I'll try to move quicker because I do have a lot of photos and people like to see photos. Go ahead, I'll be quiet for a while. It's just your time to shine. Go ahead. Here's another school.
So many schools.
Oh, the theaters. I know I was going to be quiet, but I can't shut my mouth. Here's one of the theaters. We'll get into the theaters as well. I'll be quiet. This is also high school. Schizoletto. Oh, what does that say?
It says Masonic Hall.
Yeah, Masonic Hall. Had to have the Masons there. Right. Of course. Merchants Bank. Look at the flare.
Yeah.
Nice. This is a Methodist church. Long gone. Mount Pleasant Baptist Church. And like I've said, many of these very difficult to hunt down. So Mount Pleasant's an area. I wanted to illustrate this too, because see how muddy this looks? This all looks like a flood of mud has come in, but this building looks like it just basically got swept around. This doesn't look like a new build. Again, there's a basement here and everything, right? So
I think there used to be more on this one. It's a little lame.
this is a school. Oh yeah, there it is there. Mount Pleasant School. Notice the skies are whited out on all of these too, right? So that usually somebody's erasing. You ever do erasers? When you do your drawings, you want to get rid of something that you don't want anyone to see. You good?
Yeah.
Alright, here's a depiction of the building that went up in the New Westminster fire. This is a normal school, meaning these are the teachers that are getting taught to teach. They're telling the teachers what to teach the kids. Usually coming through the church.
Why are they never smiling?
She's got a smirk.
She's pretty much the
That's a good question. There's the Oddfellows Lodge, which is very similar to
Oddfellows Lodge?
the Masonic Lodge. It's just another gentleman's group.
That's an odd name.
They're just a bunch of gentlemen, that's all. Here's the old courthouse. Looking very old world. Who put these columns? I mean, we should be able to dig far back enough in time to know who built these buildings. It's all within the last 130 years, supposedly. Here's supposedly the first iteration of the Opera House.
Ooh.
Let's check the inside out. You want to see the inside?
Yeah.
Well, there's one more the outside. This is it updated, apparently. Whether it's a different one, I don't know. Here's the inside.
Wow.
Pretty
See?
fancy.
The insides are way better.
They're nicer, yeah. Oh, here we have the Orpheum, which I've been to. See that right there? That's the Orpheum. Let's check the inside of the Orpheum. It still stands.
Ooh, that one's pretty.
Nice, right? Here's the lobby of the Orpheum.
Nice and colorful.
Who did this work? Anyone? Anyone in Vancouver have a great grandparent involved with that build? Yeah. If you do, throw it in the comments. Here's the Pantages Theater. Okay, so we're talking about a very cultured city here with all these theaters, aren't we? Does this look new to you, this building? Doesn't look new to me. Here's the inside of the Pantages. Look at this though. See all this? Face there? Wouldn't you like to watch a show in one of these booths? Wouldn't that be nice? Here's the upstairs. And ready? Here's the kicker. Here's when they tore it down. 1967. Before I was born.
Here we go. Clock here. And I like the tops.
Okay, you know how to go to the next picture? Yep.
Uh-huh.
It's the same building.
Uh-huh. Just from higher. So we can have a better view of the top.
Looks old, doesn't it?
Uh-huh. We can go fast now. Sad faces. Why are all the pieces so sad? This was nice. Here we go. Look at all these things over here. On the outside.
Is there a basement in that building?
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Looks like
There.
That's a hospital.
From far away, though. They're not letting us get a zoom of it.
street scene. Zoom a bit on that. So you can see it a bit better. Now zoom. There we go. So this is interesting too. The streetcar looking like it's been a part of life there for quite some time. All right, let's keep going. Another school.
That's a lot of people. And it didn't even fit everybody over there. Let's look at that.
Mm.
And then the windows are not arches, which is kind of surprising.
Mm-hmm.
And this is before, this is after. Look, roof thingy up there, no roof thingy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Armory.
This is nice and white, very white. Then here there's a whole bunch of mud,
Mm-hmm.
rocky type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like mud, but not with rocks. Oops.
Here, let me get rid of that. Alright, this is Jimmy Cunningham. This is the guy supposedly responsible for building the seawall. So there's a wall all the way around Stanley Park. Here it is. See the rock wall there? We've driven this.
You have?
Yeah. And that's the only picture I could find of Mr. Cunningham, and the only picture I could find of any work being done on this wall. Which apparently happened over a 30-year period. Which is
Why
highly
is
sus.
space so weird? This is like...
I know, right? He's just another character in the storyline of the area.
St. Paul's Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got the pointy thingy.
Presbyterian Church.
And then there's...
That's good.
And then more schools.
More old brick style buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Horse and buggy days. A couple of breweries.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta have a drink, right?
Oh, I don't even know what a brewery is, but whatever.
Fair enough. Another school.
Why so many schools? Is there that many kids?
I guess. Eventually. We have an old courthouse here. And the old street lamp. This would be the rail station from the other angle. You see the columns here? Right. When was this built? Dominion Trust Building. Very interesting upper portion. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
Unique?
I feel like there's something else on the top, though. No?
I don't think so. Maybe.
Maybe. Because there's railings like it was another floor.
Old hospital. This is the bank. Looking very old. And then keep in mind we are full on horse and buggy days here.
Yeah.
So let's remember the narrative. 1886, the slate was wiped clean of this city. And then this has got to be within the next 20 years of 1886. And this building looking like it's been there for a mighty long time. As well as this one, which no longer stands. This one's showing us that real textured look. See a lot of these types of buildings around the Great Lakes. Chicago, Milwaukee, Toronto, New York area. Having a lot of that texture to it. This is the asylum, not far away from the city of Vancouver. I thought I'd throw it in as well.
What's an asylum?
It's where they put the crazy people.
Oh.
Don't want to be a crazy person. Or they put you in the asylum.
Is the asylum bad?
I don't think it was good. I don't think they were good places. Here's the Sun Tower. This one's really neat too. So, see right here? See these statues on there? Let's see. Here's a close-up of those statues. Pretty neat, eh?
Yeah.
Now, who in Vancouver is building the Sun Tower post-1890 and putting these statues on it? Anybody want to jump up and take credit for that?
Yeah, I'm sure a whole bunch of people would.
Mm-hmm. Another street scene. Looking very old. Looking very old. Hastings is a very rough part of that city now of Vancouver.
Looks like they're building. building.
Construction photo?
Maybe a destruction photo.
Again, giving us that real feel of age, I think. Same building. And what do we have here? This is a structure on the water, much like we saw in Salt Lake City. We did a video on that. Galveston, remember Galveston? A bunch of these. And Vancouver, not without its own fun times on the water. Getting to the end here. Some more. Carnegie Library. Gotta have a Carnegie Library. They all had them. There's a ridiculous story with the Carnegie Libraries as well. Thousands of them popping up within a very short period of time. Very strange. Hard to believe. An old hospital. This looking like something haunted. What do you think? A bit creepy.
All these buildings look like something haunted.
They'll have that look and feel. Alright, into the church. Cigar. Interesting, eh? Cigar billboard. This that same building we saw, but with the top still on it. Old Market Hall, they're calling it. How old? Vancouver Club. Here again, they had to dig. They had to go down. We got basement windows. All looking older than the story we are given of Vancouver. This supposedly a view in 1885 before the fire, supposedly. There's the Pantages Theater.
Again, the weird name with
You see the Pantages. I think I'm saying that right. I could be saying it wrong. You see that?
So weird.
You see that in a lot of cities. That name for a theater.
Pantages.
And then many of these, like I mentioned, many of these churches lost to history. There's a street scene. Also interesting to note the curb work and all this type of infrastructure firmly intact at this period of time. This is a lot of work to get all the infrastructure up and running at such an early time period. I don't know if I buy the official narrative. I know I don't buy the official narrative. Okay. At the law courts, courthouse, current courthouse. We'll finish with this one postcard of the courthouse. So that's a look at the city of Vancouver. Very new, relatively new city. Narrative doesn't seem to hold a lot of water as far as I can see. And that's about all the buildings I could find. You have anything to say?
Thanks for watching.